Welcome back. It's sunrise, so let's get the show started. Some say it was the theft of 300 cows. Others, the murder of 5 Muslim Fulani herders by young Christian farmers. So exactly what sparked off the slaughter of more than 200 people in central Nigeria and who was behind it remains a mystery. The only certainty is that the attacks conducted at dusk last Saturday on a dozen villages in Plateau State were extremely well organized and coordinated. 3 men have been arrested. That happened on Thursday, and an investigation is ongoing. The government has promised to end the violence and hold those responsible to account, but so far has failed to do so. This is a very important subject, and it looks like Nigerians have just about got to the end of their tether, hearing stories every day of innocent citizens being murdered almost like every other day. We have in the studio with us Mr. Joseph Otte, who's Director, Access to Justice. Good morning.
Good morning.
And retired Captain Umar Aliyu, a security expert.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And joining us from Abuja is the Chairman, Middle Belt Forum, FCT Chapter, Mr. Yakubu Pam Gam. Good morning, Mr. Gam.
Morning, Madam.
Thank you for joining
Morning,
us.
Madam.
Now, let me start with the security expert. I know that you all have been talking about this forever, but the problem is still there. And in fact, it seems to be getting worse. What do you make of it all?
It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. And I'll put it this way. Ever since inauguration, post-2015, security has virtually been struggling with as many of these security threat incidents as we see. And another reason why that persists, in my opinion, is because we have somehow become habituated to this nil consequences mentality of a thing. Nothing happens about virtually everything. So even when goals are set, even when promises are made, you just don't get the required results, because whether you give results or you don't give results, nothing happens. So you see a situation where you have security chieftains. I'll give you a typical example. I once was baffled when I witnessed a very senior security chieftain who was being informed by a journalist about carnage that was ongoing as they spoke, and he listened patiently, and you know what he said? He said, "I'm yet to be informed." And I wondered what the journalist was doing.
Yes, yes.
That's it. So there's this lethargic approach to duty. There is this goallessness, because there is just zero consequences. Zero, absolute zero consequences. So we have a stereotypical scenario. I can sit here now and guess for you what will happen if another 100 got killed anywhere. We're going to see condolence visits, high-powered delegations, promises about what will be done and what will not be done. We're also going to see 1, 2, 3 arrests that will be made, and after that there will be no feedback, there will be no follow-up.
Nobody gets punished.
It fizzles out, and we just wait for the next one to happen.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It's a vicious circle of events, actually.
You are from Access to Justice. This is all very disheartening, because as he has said, because nobody is being punished, these acts continue. And you wonder how an act can take place over like 5 hours, 3 hours, and nobody
continued in the following day.
Nobody is arrested. And there is no justice for those who have been killed. What is Access to Justice doing anything about righting this?
Can access to justice write this?
Well, not right. Can it do anything towards
Yes,
getting
I know.
justice for?
Certainly, there might be a rule for not just access to justice, but civil society as a whole. But I think the primary driver of change in this area ought actually to be the government. Yes, we need to ensure that those who have lost their lives, someone is held accountable for those lives. It's an important dimension for dealing with things like this, but there is also a role that government needs to play that it's not playing yet. And that role is basically to interrogate the circumstances of what happened and then establish some findings, establish some information, on what exactly happened that created the room for those people to be killed, some kind of inquiry. So we've got to establish the facts first, and that is not what government has done. And that is not what our government often does. And like Captain Omar says, these things just come and they go. Nobody is called to account until the next time it happens. So we've got to, I think we really need to reach that situation where we ask our demand from our government. Now, this has happened in Plateau. How do we learn the lessons that we need to learn from this incident? How do we apportion responsibility for what has happened? Apparently, there has been security failures. Some people who ought to have prevented attacks like this certainly did not do their work very well, and made villagers susceptible. I actually heard that these attacks took place very close to where there was a special security task force checkpoint. So you need to...
They look the other way?
You're like wondering, why could they not have stopped that kind of pogrom? Was this task force, were they actually there? What happened? How couldn't they stop this killing? So we've got to, first of all, begin with that. And then we can then afterwards see whether it's, the people who have lost their lives, people who have been injured as a result of this, we can begin to talk about who bears responsibility for that.
Okay. Well, we'll just take a short break and come back and go to Abuja.